Welcome back. Every crisis has its advantages and disadvantages, and there are valuable lessons that we can learn from every crisis. Corona is not an exception. There's a lot we can learn from it and be able to handle, a similar crisis in future more effectively. So here are 6 lessons I do believe they're important and we should learn to make sure if such a crisis was to reoccur, we would be in a better position to handle it more better. Coming up. So lesson number 1 is the importance of having an emergency fund. An emergency fund, they are simply savings that are supposed to take care of your needs or wants just in case your normal source of income, is interfered with or stops. It is not how much money we earn that determines whether you should save or not. Irrespective of how much you earn, we can all save money. We are now living with less. So many of us have taken pay cuts. So with our normal income, that means we can save money. So we should not give an excuse for, not building an emergency fund. If you've ever watched a football match, you know how important it is to have a good defense and a good offense at the same time. The two have to work together. You have to attack and at the same time defend to be able to win matches. So the same case applies to our lives. As much as we try to aim to earn more, we should also try to aim to save more to defend ourselves just in case such, occurrences occur. The modern world is so unpredictable today. We are so interconnected. And in a crisis in another country it takes a number of days to get to us. So it is important we try to develop defense by building emergency fund, by saving money. So having an emergency fund is of paramount importance in our lives. And I think it's one of the valuable lessons you're supposed to learn from Corona. Let's try in future to develop a defense mechanism that will help us, handle or minimize, the effect of such crises just in case they occur. So irrespective of how much you earn, irrespective however small your earnings are, please make sure you put something aside to take care of you when such earnings will not be there or when such earnings will be interfered with by such a crisis. Lesson number 2 is the importance or the value of opportunity. Opportunity knocks in every man's or woman's door. But if you don't grab the opportunity, it doesn't last. The challenge with opportunity is that its importance is valued or is seen in hindsight or when it is gone. When something goes away, that's when we see the value that it was adding in our lives. We take so many things for granted, especially the opportunity around us, thinking that they last there forever. But that doesn't happen. The devastating effect of Corona is likely to take so many opportunities away from us. The job that we hated, that business that you didn't take seriously, that job that you didn't take seriously. Most probably, if Corona continues, is likely to have devastating effects on our economy and our, financial health. So many of those opportunities that you never cared for will be gone and probably will never come back. So it is important that we value every opportunity that we have around us because we do not know how long they'll be there. All of us are endowed or gifted with 3 important resources by our Creator for free. We have time, we have treasure, we have talent. The question is, how are we using them not only to improve our lives but to improve the lives of others? Because as we said earlier, this opportunity to live, this opportunity to be alive at this point will not be there forever. So the question is, how are we using those resources to change the lives of others, to do what we were sent here to achieve? So it is important you question yourself how that is being consumed by the world. I suggest that we let us take advantage of every opportunity around us. Do not take things for granted, because even that job that you don't like may not be there tomorrow. So take advantage of every opportunity. Throw yourself, give your best to whatever opportunities are available there, because you never know whether they'll be there tomorrow. Live your day like it's your last, because you never know again whether tomorrow will be there. And as a wise man once said in the past, if you're a sweeper, be the best ever. So use your resources, the 3 resources, to make sure you improve your lives and do whatever you have to do. The resources of time, the resources of talent, and the resources of treasure, because when time is taken away, the other 2 resources will be useless. So it is important you take advantage when you have time. And I do believe most of us will survive, coronavirus, and that will be an opportunity to redeem ourselves. We'll be given extra time to prove ourselves. So let us take advantage of that opportunity. Lesson number 3 is we need to deal with increasing inequality in terms of income and wealth. This is simply we need to mind our neighbors. As we grow, we also need to ensure that people are growing. As we try to, earn more, we also need to ensure other people are also, earning more. The lesson that you're learning from this crisis is that if you want peace and security, you have also to ensure your neighbor is doing well, because we need each other to fight this thing. We cannot fight it alone. It has to be dealt evenly. So you have to ensure if it is an order to stay at home, everybody stays at home. If it's an order to put on a mask, everybody puts on a mask. But because of income inequalities, these are some of the disadvantages of income inequalities. Some of us cannot afford some of the regulations that you're putting in place because of their income status. The idea by the media trying to paint, people in Kawangware, Kibra and other places as careless by not putting on masks, by not buying sanitizers. But I don't think they're careless, because self-preservation comes first. It's natural. You don't need anyone to explain to you. You're supposed to protect yourself from death. Corona is a threat. If you look at the Abraham Maslow hierarchy of needs, basics comes first. People live hand to mouth on a daily basis, and their small earnings, they have a choice between buying food and buying a mask or a sanitizer and other things that are supposed to be used to protect yourself from corona. So income inequality is something that we need to address, because winning such a war as coronavirus will require everybody on board. Cooperation from every corner will be needed. But with such income inequality, it is impossible to implement some of the things that we are trying. So if every year, each individual who has ability uplifts at least one life, we'll have a better world. So in such a crisis, we'll be able to deal with it more effectively. Lesson number 4 is that everybody is important and unity is important. Despite our competitive nature, we need to learn to coexist and support each other. There's no single country which is dealing, with COVID 2019 alone. They're relying on, supply of, PPEs, ventilators from others, and support even in terms of medical staff. So no one can do it alone. Some countries or individuals are making more contribution than others, but that does not mean others are less important. So without, the support of others, those contributions cannot make a difference. So we need to realize each person is important. The poor need the rich, and the rich need the poor. It's a symbiotic relationship. I hope you'll be able, to value people more than material things, because we have realized, material things can only do as much. So people are more important, especially in such a crisis. Number 5 is that we've realized there are so many things we can do without. There are so many things that we thought if we didn't do in our lives, if they didn't exist in our lives, they would, affect our lives abnormally. I think it's a high time we start, evaluating or ensuring there's congruence between, social value and market value. Because I do believe there are sectors in the economy that are key. The crisis has taught us there are certain sectors that are very, very important, and the people who work in those sectors are also very, very important in an economy. But the challenge is that they do not get, the attention they deserve. They do not get the market value in terms of reward that they deserve. Their importance to the society is so high. They add so much value to the society, but that does not match the reward they get in terms of pay or in terms of the resources that they are allocated in the economy. There's simply incongruence in terms of social value and the market value. I think some sectors get unnecessary attention at the expense of these essential sectors, yet they do not add the value these sectors add. So it is important as we allocate our resources, we need to see how we'll be allocating more to such sectors such as health and less to others, to make sure they get the attention they deserve. Because the crisis has taught us they are essentials. They are essential sectors that we cannot do without, and we need to invest more to make sure in such a scenario, in such a crisis, we're able to handle the crisis effectively. I think also we need to ensure we empower the people who work in these sectors to make sure to motivate them to do more, because they're putting their lives on the line to make sure we fight this crisis. They should be our celebrities, so we should reward them more in terms of pay and other rewards. Lesson number 6, we should make sure internet become a basic need. digitalization of as many services as possible, especially the key sectors, that is health and education and others. We should ensure we digitalize as many services as possible within this line. Ensure each household has affordable, if not free, internet to ensure to ease communication and access to information. If such infrastructure was available, it would have been easier for us to educate our kids in such a crisis. But I hope we have learned the lesson, the need of developing such, platforms to ensure in future we're able to handle, the situation much better. Internet has become so important in our life. We are doing so many things over the internet. So it is important we make sure it is accessible to as many people as possible, if not all, to ensure we grow together. Because as we said, any kind of inequality in accessing the internet will also lead to inequality in other areas. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe, like the page for YouTube algorithm. So stay safe, ensure your neighbor is also safe. We need each other. See you next time.